Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Teen Talk Central. In this week's episode, we're talking about why you might feel behind and why teenagers have the pressure to have their life all together. If this is something that you can relate to or just something you want to learn more about, then definitely continue listening to this week's episode of Teen Talk Central. Okay guys, let's get started. Today we're just going to be breaking down silent stress that I feel like a lot of people do feel and why we might feel like everyone else is succeeding faster, living better, or reaching milestones earlier, and how social comparison kind of changes our perspective and how to slow down enough to build life at our own pace, because at the end of the day, we are living our own life. Other people are not living our lives for us. So remember that, guys, before we get into the episode. If this is the only thing that you take away, remember that every person's life is different and you cannot compare. So let's get started. I feel like, especially for me as a teenager, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way, maybe even not as teenagers, maybe as full adults, that there is kind of this idea that there is a perfect timeline for all of us, that by a certain age we have to have accomplished this and this and this. And I feel like comparison hits especially hard when we are teenagers. I don't really know why. I think it's just the way like social media has put us and the way that we have slowly grown up in a way that every year more and more people are becoming more and more successful, which is obviously amazing, but then you kind of start to compare yourself to other people, and obviously that is not good. And I feel like the pressure of grades and sports and college and friendships, body image, achievements, so many things can kind of start this silent panic of feeling behind. You may not verbalize it yet, and you may not fully understand it yet, but it is like going on through your head as you know the years go on. And as always, the psychology behind it, one of them is just social comparison theory. As literally with anything, it's how the brain measures its worth. And obviously, if someone is doing better than you, you measure your own self-worth as lower because you're not doing as much as someone else is doing. The next one is cognitive distortions. I can never say that word correctly. And that's when it's the idea that, oh my God, everyone is ahead of me and everyone's doing more than me. But honestly, do you even know that these people are doing what they truly want to do? I'm not saying this is a lot of people, but I feel like there are enough people in this world who are doing something purely out of the fact that their parents are making them do it. I cannot even tell you the amount of people who I've met at past summer camps that are just like, yeah, I'm doing this because my parents want me to. Spending thousands and thousands of dollars, and obviously on social media, it looks like they're doing it because they want to or because they're, ahead of everyone else. But in reality, yes, they are super smart, but they're doing it not out of true passion. So, remember that. Next one is just developmental pressure. I think teen years equals identity and future decisions all in one. If you think about it, it's honestly kind of crazy that at the unripe age of 18 or 17, because I'm 17 when I'm choosing where to go to college, that's when we have to decide what we're doing with our future. Like, that's when you have to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life. I think that is honestly insane, which is probably why a lot of teens, and honestly, like adults too, switch their major or their jobs, like, throughout their life. I think it's kind of insane that this is the time in our lives when we have to choose that. Another one is just the idea of, like, rewards. I think achievement gives dopamine, which creates the pressure to always achieve because, again, humans crave dopamine. That's what we love. That's what we always want and strive for. So those are kind of the main psychological pieces that I think are in this kind of idea of comparing. And now let's talk about our favorite topic on this podcast, social media. Social media is such a fake space. I have recently started posting on social media, and I try to be as real as possible as I can be with my 300 viewers, and that is okay. And I would rather be completely as authentic as possible. And even then, I'm not posting, when I'm crying or when I'm sad or when I'm feeling down or when I don't do super good at school, because I don't want to, post that on social media for other people to see. So in a sense, it's like, yes, I am also being fake. right? Everyone is fake on social media. You see these people on Instagram posing with, their best friends or whatever. But honestly, like, are they truly that, like, even that close? Who knows? Literally, who knows? It's honestly insane the way social media has kind of changed our perception on certain things. Another thing that social media really kind of exemplifies is the idea of viral glow-ups, rebrand seasons, becoming her. I feel like I see that a lot, especially as 2025 is coming to a close. Obviously, we have to start thinking about what we're going to do for 2026. And everyone is like, this is how you're going to glow up in 100 days. Okay, but is this really, really going to work? And am I going to compare the way I'm glowing up to somebody else? Absolutely not. It is so stupid. And I can 100% testify and say that I have gone down this spiral, and it is not good for you. It is not healthy for you. And also, the idea that you need to reinvent yourself overnight with all of these how to yada yada in however many days. It sends you down a spiral because that's all you think about. It's like, I have to glow up tomorrow. Here are the top 10 glow up tips: teeth, hair, eyelashes, eyebrows, all that stuff. It's not feasible, and I just don't understand why we have to put so much pressure to glow up. I don't think humans were designed to have to compare themselves from 100 million people's perspectives, right? Some of these influencers have millions and millions of views on their videos, and people are giving them such bad hate comments. Yes, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I 100% agree with that, but that does not mean that you can go around shaming someone just for doing something that they love or something that they want to do or something they just want to inform the world about. It's crazy. Okay, now the signs that you're putting too much pressure on yourself, because honestly, I need this, and it's bad. So let's start. Feeling behind even when you're doing 100% enough. Personally, I feel like I am behind sometimes, but I also understand that I am doing the best that I can, and I'm doing the most that I possibly can, right? I can't push myself to do any more than I'm already doing, so why would I do that? Well, because I, sometimes still compare myself to the ideas of social media and all of that fun stuff. And also over-planning your life. You need time for yourself. It is so important to take breaks for yourself. And I think the people that don't take breaks for themselves end up getting burnt out, which is 100% not good. Next, this one I can especially relate to. Compare grades, confidence, friendships, and especially right now as a senior in high school, where you get into college. I feel like where you get into college kind of like defines yourself in the senior year, which is really scary to think about, but it's unfortunately something that I feel like I've come to terms with. And it's a really hard feeling because obviously everyone's kind of going through different stages in their lives, and it's really hard. Obviously, I'm always super happy for my friends, but it is still really hard to kind of see like, oh, these people are getting here and doing all this, and they have better grades than I do, so I'm not going to get into this college. That's such a negative mindset that even I need to get my head out of. And also never feeling satisfied. I sometimes don't feel satisfied with certain things that I'm doing, and I just have to remember that, I'm not always going to get what I want, and I'm not always going to, that sounds really bad. I'm not like a brat, but in the sense that like schools, for example, or the grades, I'm not always going to get everything I want, but I have to try my hardest to get what I want. I hope that makes sense. So how to actually slow down. Here are some things that I have tried. One is just reframing my own pace and understanding that my timeline isn't late. No one's timeline is 100% perfect, so I don't have to compare. Also, taking the pressure out of uncertainty and just normalizing it. I think it's so important. And the idea that really no one has it figured out, so I don't have to have it figured out either. It is 100% okay to not have it figured out. And then last one is just creating small personal goals instead of massive interventions. So there's certain things that I'm like, oh, I have to do this right now. No, I can take my time and slowly get into it and then come back eventually. So just remember that everybody blooms or, grows differently, and you're allowed to take your time. You're 100% allowed to. And growth doesn't need to be loud or posted all the time. You can not struggle in silence, but you can kind of work on yourself in silence, and then those results will just show up. People will see it. You don't have to post it on social media all the time. And again, everyone is to their own opinion and preferences, but that is just what I think. And I hope you guys learned a lot from this episode. I hope you guys could take away some things, tips and tricks. And I just want everyone to remember that, you are your own person, you're on your own timeline. And if you guys want to help out this podcast, you can share it with a friend and say, hey, I listened to this and it was really helpful. And if a friend shared this to you, let us know what advice you found the most helpful. And you guys can, as always, comment on any episode ideas. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys next week for another amazing episode. Bye!